Amongst the desolate city and the bloody moon in the sky, we observe honor destroyed. Buildings, there were 3 characters standing. As we took a closer look, we observed our main character covered in blood, on his knees, groaning in pain as he observes the city getting destroyed, absolutely dislocated by monsters. Monsters destroying buildings, wreaking havoc. As we see hundreds of thousands of zombies beneath the feet of the monsters, who could wonder that these zombies were once living beings with families, who are now attacking humans? As people beg for help, running, we observe 2 people beating the main character as one of them kicks him. Let me see someone pouring gasoline over the main character. As we observe, it's the girl pouring gasoline, saying, hee hee, see you in the next life. As the man with some kind of charm in his hand tosses it, he says, sorry, brother Xia, all of your stuff, I am taking it all. We see he is talking about the charm in his hand, on which is written the 6th grade hell. We see it radiating light as the main character observes it, covered in blood and gasoline, saying, why you? As we observe, from that little charm comes a massive bear-like beast with skulls covering its neck. The man says, your adorable little sister was dragged away by zombies before you. Ah, it's all because she refused to give me this token. Her blood was still quite useful, the man says, as we see the grin on his face. The main character can do nothing but grit his teeth as we observe what kind of destruction is going on around the world. The man, using the main character's weapon charm, whatever you want to call it, is renowned as the strongest ability user, blessed by the gods, as people below say, we are saved seeing that guy. We see the large monster. Both the people say, don't you love fire? Then disappear into the flames as they laugh heartily. We see the man throw the lighter toward the main character's body, which is covered in gasoline, as the bear-like monster lunges toward the big demon that is wreaking havoc in the city. We observe both of them fighting with their whole bodies as energy eclipses throughout both of them. We observe the main character covered in flames, lying down. There is nothing he can do about it as he thinks to himself, if there is a next life, I definitely won't let you go. As we see him awakening something, one of his eyes turns yellow like a flame. We see his eyes emitting flame, and the flame says, hee hee. Then let's start over, shall we? We see his heart racing, beating relentlessly as his eyes close. And when his eyes reopen, we see him waking up naked, with one of his eyes turned yellow. He thinks to himself, what's happening? No wounds, no fire? Could the voice I heard really be real? The man wakes up with a jolt as he checks his mobile. We get to know that he's back in time. He has returned 3 days before the apocalypse is going to start. As the man checks for himself, he looks toward the mirror, saying, has everything really started over? He observes himself as he notices his right eye has turned pale gold. Is this the fire seed left in my eyes when I was burned to death? As the main character gets dressed and ready to leave his house, we see him thinking to himself, who would have thought that in 3 days, all of this would be destroyed? As we observe him on a street filled with people, the apocalypse arrives, turning hundreds of millions of people into zombies. Strange gods appear. Even though some humans gain power, they can't resist in time, and the cities become a living hell, with humans turning into demons in the fight for resources just to survive. We get to know that his girlfriend and his best friend were the ones who betrayed the main character without any hesitation. He is talking about the people who killed him earlier as we see his girlfriend calling him. The main character thinks to himself and picks up the phone, saying hello. The girl answers. Why are you so slow to answer? Are you trying to break up? We see the main character thinking to himself. She always says this same thing whenever something doesn't go to her liking. She threatens to break up immediately. In the past, I would anxiously try to appease her, but now, the main character says to her, I want to break up. We see her wondering, what? What are you saying? We see the main character saying to her, I said let's break up. I'm tired of this. I don't want to serve you anymore. Goodbye. As we see the main character hanging up on her and putting the mobile in his pocket, thinking to himself, finally, some peace. I better hurry up and take care of business first. We observe at the home of his ex-girlfriend. We see her slamming her mobile on the bed as she says, how dare he hang up and block me? We get to know that she is with another person, cheating on the main character. As the man says, could it be that he discovered our relationship? How is that possible? That fool follows me around all day. If I tell him to go east, he wouldn't dare go west. How could he possibly discover about you and me? We see the man saying, "Don't be angry. Just now, my old man sent me a message asking me to collect some ancient family heirlooms with spiritual energy. He said something big might happen." As we see the girl saying to him that she remembers the main character also has a family token. It is quite ugly and seems to be a few hundred years old. We see the man is interested, saying, "Oh, where is that thing now?" The girl replies, "It is with the main character's sister. The main character is acting crazy right now. When he calms down, he will naturally come back and flatter her. At that time, she will just ask him for the token." As we see them getting on top of each other, continuing their business, saying, "That's work," we observe the token in the main character's hand, which looks rusty and old. As we see the beautiful girl, she is the main character's sister, who says, "Brother, why are you suddenly asking for this? And you even rushed over 30 kilometers by taxi? Aren't you working today?" We see her noticing the main character's eyes as she says, "What is wrong with your eyes?" The main character asks her if she trusts her brother fully. The girl, without hesitation, says, "Of course." She says, "Brother, we have relied on each other until now. I trust you unconditionally, believing that everything you do is for my own good." As we see her hugging him, we see the main character saying, "Then go to your school now, pack your things, and come back with me immediately." We see the girl saying, "Okay, I'll be back right away." We see her saying, "See you in 2 hours," as she goes in to pack up all her things. We see the main character asking her, "You're not going to ask me why I asked you to leave?" We see the girl saying nonchalantly that she trusts her main character wholeheartedly. Without hesitation, the main character has a resolute mind, thinking to himself, "This time I will make sure that my sister survives." As we observe the charm in the main character's hand, we see him thinking about the monster in this token. Is there anything different about it? He thinks to himself. As we see his eyes glowing, he doesn't notice it at first, but when the energy comes from his eyes and flows into the token, we see he is quite surprised by that as memories rush back to him. The token suddenly emits an ominous aura as the writing appears, the sixth great hell. We see the main character now in a daze, as it feels like he is traveling dimensions, going through a tunnel of space-time and reality. On the other side, we see a glowing figure of him falling from the sky towards a tower that is held by countless chains. The tower seems to be continually getting bashed by lightning as we observe the main character looking like he has transversed reality, saying, "What is this?" As we see the massive figure of the tower, at every lower level of the tower, there are multiple demon beasts. As we see the never-ending tower, the main character thinks to himself as he gets close, "These all are monsters and demons." As we finally see the entrance of the tower, there are some beasts that are lurking inside the entrance. As we see the images of countless monsters, the main character sees them closely, saying, "Everything is so damn scary." We observe how the heavenly thunder keeps bashing toward these monsters countless times, as the whole tower is filled with it. Monsters cough out blood upon contact with it. We observe the main character standing just outside the entrance of the tower as he thinks to himself, "The lightning is suppressing the monsters in the tower." We see someone's voice saying, "Hee, scared now?" As we observe long teeth, a beautiful face, and silver hair, we see the main character saying, "Who are you?" As we see the girl from behind, she has a tail, some cat ears, and beautiful hair. The girl introduces herself as Sue Daji. As we see her whole posture, we see her saying, "Greeting Hell's prison warden," calling the main character the warden of the prison. As we get to know about how, tens of thousands of years ago, the immortal emperor gathered the 12 immortals to jointly forge the demon-suppressing tower, which is this very tower. It is called the Sixth Great Hell. Throughout the ages, countless ferocious beasts and sinful gods who committed heinous crimes have been thrown inside to suffer the torment of soul-burning heavenly lightning, day and night. We see that explains about the lightning suppressing the monster. The girl says to the main character, "The pardon token in your hand is the only key that can unlock its door." We see the main character surprised by this thing, saying, "So, is this why you called me the warden of the prison?" We see her saying, "So, warden, would you like to go inside and check on your prisoners? How about I give you a more detailed report as we walk through?" The main character accepted it, looking toward the token. We see both of them entering this mesmerizing tower. As they pass through the tower's gate, we observe countless attacks of heavenly thunder ringing in that tower. As the main character walked in, we see that multiple attacks of lightning were coming toward him. The fox girl asked him to be very careful of it. We see the main character's eyes activating. The flame seed in his eyes erupted out with energy as we see it blocking every attack that was coming toward him. As the main character defended himself, we see the surprised fox come toward him, saying, "How impressive." We see her going towards the main character, trying to touch him, saying, "Warden, the flame in your eyes is indeed the nether fire seed. That's why you were able to restart your life after death in the underworld." We see the main character asking her, "Was it you speaking to me in my last life?" The girl says to the main character, "The bond between me and the Xia family runs deep. As the guide spirit of the sixth great hell, I couldn't bear to see you get killed by villains. Your despair and anger at the moment of death awakened your flame ability, which ignited the nether fire seed. I merely went along with the flow." The main character conjured some fire in his hand, thinking to himself, "Now, with the apocalypse upon us, I have already awakened my power. This time, everything will be different." As he took a look towards the prisoners, we see him say, "Lead the way," as she says, "As you command, Warden." We get to know that the sixth great hell is divided into 5 layers based on your current soul power. The doors you can light up represent the limit of where you can venture. The higher you go, the stronger the creatures imprisoned there, and you will need to increase your soul power to face them. Right now, the only section which is lit is this one, as we observe the same monster from before with a bear-like face and skulls emitting red color from their eyes, behind bars and in chains. As the main character thinks to himself, "That looks like the beast my best friend was riding in my previous life." The beast roared loudly towards the main character, startling him. We see the main character's surprised expression as it becomes a friendly animal, a friendly bear, saying, "Oh wow, is this the new Warden? Young and promising, just as expected. It's been thousands of years, and we have finally been waiting for you. If you need anything, just say the word." "Ha ha ha," the bear says. We see the bear try to kiss the main character. The fox girl kicks it, saying, "You shameless black bear, look at you groveling just after sighting the Warden." We see the main character is also in a daze as the fox says, "Get lost. I haven't even had a chance to lick him yet." We see both of them trying to be close to the main character. These thousands of year-old demon kings imprison for a bit, and they turn into dorms. What's so special about this Warden? He's just relying on that token. We see a crow-like figure saying, "If you want me to submit, let the heavenly lightning strike me for another 1,000 years, and I will see what happens." As the main character took a look at him, he said, "First the fox girl, then the black bear demon. This prison holds legendary creatures." As we observe the large figure with crow-like wings and an ominous aura surrounding him, covered with chains, the main character says, "His obedience? Could it be?" As the large bird took a look at the main character says, "Eliai Jinzi." Looks like this is what the big creature is called. We see the fox skull teasing the main character. He, as expected of the Warden, you recognize him at a glance. We get to know that in this world, monsters are ranked as soldier class, then general class, then commander class, then king class, then sage class, and beyond. The Warden is currently on the lowest level of the demon suppressing tower, where general level criminals are imprisoned. The higher you go, the stronger the monsters imprisoned there are. It is said that the topmost layer even holds sage level immortal criminals. I have heard Lady Nuwa sigh about how there was once a god level being in the world, but they have been lost to the sands of time. Work hard, Warden, and you will soon ascend the rank and control the entire prison. It seems this tower is even more formidable than I thought, the main character says. Just the general level beasts on the lowest level are already this powerful. It's hard to imagine what's imprisoned on the top floor. As we see his eyes lit up, he says, "No matter who they all will be my power in the future. In this apocalypse, I must become the strongest." The little fox says, "With your current soul power, this is as far as you can go into prison. You need to absorb more soul power to light up more rooms and ascend to the next level. Soul power is quite different from abilities. Abilities must be absorbed from zombies and mutant crystal cores, but soul power can only be obtained by killing gods. In 3 days, when the god descends upon the world, my hunt will begin. For now, let's make all the necessary preparations. As we see him walking toward somewhere, we see at the antique shop the main character thinking to himself, "In my previous life, someone stumbled upon a binding immortal rope here and became a powerful ability user. If I remember correctly, the treasure should still be here." The main character thinks to himself as he walked down the path, with the help of his fire seed. The energy radiating from these antiques can't escape the main character. As he takes a look at everything that he has been passing by, we take a glance towards a man with green hair. We get to know that he is the head of the Song family and the father of the guy who the main character's ex-girlfriend was cheating with. With him seems to be an old master who is an antique appraiser. We see the man spot the main character, thinking to himself, "Isn't that the main character? What is he doing here?" As we see him thinking about how his son introduced the main character to him, saying that he is just a foolish, loyal guy who is easy to manipulate, the man carries his chin, thinking about something as the elder asked, "What is it, Mr. Song?" The man says, "Nothing, just saw someone I know." "Elder, let's continue searching for antiques. We will rely on your expertise." We see the man saying, Don't worry, Mr. Song. Appraising antiques is my only skill. Too bad most of the items here are just crafts." After the ancestral worship ceremony at the ancestral home a few days ago, I've been dreaming of my ancestors' teaching, telling me to search for antiques and certain things. Better to believe in them rather than regret. I specially invited the elder today for appraising. I must succeed. We see the elder looking towards something, thinking to himself about how he has found it. We see that the elder is pointing toward this bottle-looking thing with a red string attached to it, as we see someone else asking the shopkeeper, "How much is this thing?" The elder was quite unpleasant about it. It looks like it's our main character. The man who is selling it thinks, "Another gullible one. This gourd? It's from the Ming Dynasty, at least worth 10,000. The man pointed toward it. The main character thinks to himself and says it out loud. 10,000? That is too expensive for this. We see the elder behind getting excited as the main character took a look inside it. The main character pointed out something about how it is cracked and even tied with a broken string, saying, "From my perspective, this is just a craft piece worth at most yen 100. The shopkeeper lashed out, saying, yen 100? Peace off. Don't waste my time." We see the elder seeing a chance and says, "Shopkeeper, let me take a look at it." As we see both of them appraising the item, the shopkeeper says, "Take your time, gentlemen." It looks like the main character has gotten what he wanted with his eye. He appraised that this little string, which is incomprehensible, no one would think that this is the magical treasure, the binding immortal rope. As we see that the little string is the mythical treasure, the main character puts it in his pocket, saying to himself, "Now let's enjoy their show." We get to know how, in his previous life, his little sister was captured by the Song family. Not only did they steal the token, but they also used his little sister in a blood sacrifice. "This time, I won't let you go." We see the old man saying that this gourd has a faint spiritual aura. It's ancient. As we see the smile on the man's face, we hear him say, "Shopkeeper, give me this." The main character, with a sinister smile from behind, says to Uncle Song, "It's you. I thought you looked familiar earlier. You were here to browse antiques as well?" We see him acting surprised at how he has just found out that the main character is also interested in antiques. "By the way, I have heard from my son that your family has an ancient heirloom. I would like to talk to you about it later." As we see the main character loudly announcing how Uncle Song is from a wealthy family, he wonders, why would he go out of his way to buy this small bottle? Could it be that that thing is actually very valuable? We see people hearing this, saying, "Isn't that the elder, the famous antique appraiser? Since he appraised it, this must be the real deal. The god seems to have something special in him." "Shopkeeper, you said the price is 10,000. I will offer you 12. We see people offering 20,000 as the man grits his teeth, saying, "You guys, I was here first. Don't raise the price." Everyone started to bid as the man says, "You didn't even make an offer yet. The highest bidder wins." "I will offer 50,000, another one says. 55. It looks like the man ended up spending 17,000 more than what he was going to spend. What was originally only 10,000 ended up costing so much more because of that little brat interrupting, the man says. As we see the main character saying, Uncle Song, you mentioned you were curious about the heirloom in my family. The man says, indeed. I have heard from my son that you have a family heirloom token. Could you show it to me? We see the main character getting it out of his jacket, saying, of course. The man's eyes lit up, saying, this is a treasure. May I take a closer look? The main character replies, of course not. This is a family heirloom. How can I let you examine it so casually? We see the man saying to the main character, you and my son are such good friends. Just show uncle a little, won't you? The main character says to him, your son? Sorry, I don't know him. If there is nothing else, I will take my leave. The man appraises him, asking, what does he want in return for letting them see it? Money? The main character says 1 minute for 10,000. Give me 50,000 and you can look for 5 minutes. As we see the main character pulling out his phone, on which PayPal is available, he says, isn't it cheap? The main character adds, you are serious? If you won't pay, I am leaving. The main character threatens the man with grudge in his eyes. Gritting his teeth, the man says, fine, I will pay. As we see the money get transferred, the main character throws the token into the old man's hand for 5 minutes, saying, this will do. As the main character looks at his balance, he thinks to himself, perfect. First stock up on water, then food. There are plenty of empty cells in the 6th grade hell prison where I can store supplies. The main character thinks to himself as we see the little fox saying, boarding any item placed inside will remain unchanged, even live animals. So, I can have some chicken later. The main character thinks to himself, it makes perfect sense that a fox likes to eat chicken. As the main character thinks to himself how people might think that he is going to start a farm, we see him thinking about water, rice, animals, vegetables, and fruit. We get to know that his balance has run out. The main character thinks about how money runs out too quickly. We see the main character asking the man, finished looking? 5 minutes are up. Want to extend the time? Old man? The man asks the main character if he can sell the token to him. The main character replies, of course. We see the delighted faces of both of them. The main character, with a grin on his face, says, how about 10 million? We see both of their faces after hearing that the price is 10 million. The main character took it out of the hands of Mr. Song, seeing what's wrong. Uncle Song, this token has been passed down for 1,000 years. It's definitely an antique. 10 million isn't too expensive, the main character says while juggling the token in his hand. If you don't want to buy it, I have other matters to attend to. We see the old man saying, Mr. Song, that token is indeed an antique worth at least 500,000. He is asking too much for that. Should we try to negotiate and lower the price? In my opinion, we could get it for 100,000. We see the man saying, thank you for your help today, Elder. You can head back now. As we see the elder saying, okay, I will take my leave. We see the man calling someone. We get to know that it's his son. He commands him to gather all the clan members and act immediately. Find the main character and his sister and bring the token to me. We see him sneering with an ugly mug, saying, that brat dared to mess with me. My ancestors didn't just tell me to search for antiques, but also to prepare a young girl's blood for a blood sacrifice. I was hesitant before, but now you are asking for death. We see the main character observing it, saying, so, he finally planned to kill me? Perfect. I was afraid you wouldn't make a move. Too bad I didn't extort more money from you, but no rush. I will collect my debt one step at a time. We see her sister has packed everything, saying, brother, I am ready. Let's go. As both of them were heading home, we see her teacher, whose name is by Shireen, rushing toward both of them, saying, wait. We see his sister startled, saying, Miss, why are you here? She says, you are asking me why you left the school so suddenly? Do you know that there is an important exam tomorrow? It's crucial for your future. We see the main character saying, I was the one who told her to come home with me. I am sorry, but she needs to temporarily take a leave from the school. We see the teacher looking at him, saying, so you are her brother. We see her shouting towards him, saying, your sister is the top student in our class. I have heard that both her parents passed away, and it's her brother who has been taking care of her. I thought her brother would be responsible, but I didn't expect him to be so careless. The main character is a bit startled himself. We see the girl coming closer to him, saying, I am our homeroom teacher. I don't agree with you making her leave school. She has a bright future ahead, and it shouldn't be ruined. The main character says, it's not that serious. She's just going home to handle some things. We see the girl's face saying, how could it be so important? As long as the earth isn't exploding, schools shouldn't be interrupted. As she says that, we see her embarrassing face and the main character wondering something. His sister, Justina, says, we see the embarrassing look of the teacher, saying, in any case, a student must. We see the main character reassuring her, saying, all right, miss, thank you. You are truly a great teacher. So as a token of my gratitude, let me give you some advice. The main character tells her how she should stock up on as much food, water, medicine, and weapons as possible. More importantly, prepare a large supply of painkillers. They might help you get through the tough time ahead. We see the teacher thinking to herself, wait, what is he talking about? Stocking up on supplies? It's as if he's saying that the world is really going to end. Sigh. I just hope both of them will be okay. As we see their figures leaving the house of the main character, we see her sister asking her brother, what do we do now? Is something big about to happen? She asked as the main character says, yes, but I will protect you. We observe him reassuring her as we see him saying, we are this. I am going out for a bit. He gave the token to her sister, saying, don't open the door for anyone, no matter who it is. As she says to him, dinner will be ready, so come early to eat. We see the happiness on her face as the main character left, thinking to himself, the token is with my sister, so I can sense her whereabouts at any time. Now, the top priority is to get more money. As he leaves the door, we observe the main character coming down from the left, and we see his ex-girlfriend is out, saying on the phone, what? The main character's sister isn't at school? Then come to the main character's house first. He can't escape forever. As we see the main character coming out of the lift, we see it's the son of Mr. Song saying to her, got it. Keep him occupied. We are on our way. As we see the girl coming close to the main character, she says, hee, did you miss me? We see her talking about how the Song family brat said he wants to grab a late-night snack with the main character, and he will be over soon. The main character just shrugs her off, saying, oh, even going forward to her. We see her screaming about how the main character ignored her and what he means by that. We see her getting closer to him, holding his hand, saying, you are not really thinking about breaking up with me, are you? Don't be childish. I know you're just jealous. Didn't I come to see you? We see the main character shrug her off, saying, sorry, the thought that I ever was in a relationship with you makes me. We observe the main character making a sick face, saying to her, please stay away from me. The girl says, don't be so ungrateful. The main character just says, oh, as her face falls to the ground, better pick it up before someone steps on it. We see her losing all her temper, saying, where are you going? Come back here. The main character shrugs her off, saying, I'm going to sell my house. We see her a bit distressed about it, saying, what? You are selling your house? Isn't this your only house? Didn't you say it was going to be our wedding house? The main character says, I need money now. Selling it cheap. What do you want? You want to buy it? We see her thinking, what's gotten into him? He suddenly is so cold, and now he is selling his house. That house was left to him by his parents. The location is prime, worth at least $3 million. I dated him because of that house. We see her getting closer to him, saying, so, how much are you selling it for? We see the main character saying, $1 million. Final offer. We see the girl saying, this cheap? Could it be that he is in trouble and needs to sell the house to pay off debt? We see the main character saying to her, just say it. Do you want it or not? If not, I'm going to the agency. This is a huge steal. Even I want to grab it. We see her saying, I want it, of course, but I don't have that much money right now. I can pay up to $300,000 up front and pay the rest later. The main character shrugs her off, saying, who's doing installments here, lady? Do you think I am a fool? It's $1 million cash. Not even a cent less. We see the girl thinking to herself how the man is bringing over people soon to deal with the main character, and he is as good as dead. Anyway, even if I give him $1 million, he will have to pay it back. The most important thing right now is tricking him into finalizing the property transfer. As we see her being smart, she says, all right, $1 million is it? Let's head to the real estate office now. At the real estate office, the girl calls her mother, saying, Mom, don't worry. I am buying a house, catching a big deal. The money will come right back. Her mother says to her, look at you, dating a broke guy like the main character, and now you have to spend your own money to buy his house. That's all our family savings. We see her saying, "Just wire the money over, Mom. Soon he will be gone for good." We see the main character saying, "Are you done yet? I will sign once I receive the full payment." We see her sly grin on her face as we get to know that the money is just getting transferred and the main character has already received it. We see her thinking to herself, "Just hope you live long enough to spend it." The main character, with her grin who knows the reality, says to himself, "When the apocalypse descends, the house will lose all its value. And without that 1 million, you will miss your last chance at survival." We see her thinking to herself that she has won. The main character, with glowing eyes, stands there as the girl says she is so happy. The main character and she should go to the main character's house for celebration. He says, "Yes, we should definitely celebrate." In the evening, as the sun came up to dawn at the home of the main character, we see the goons that have been brought by the Song family, including the son of the Song family, saying, "I just found out that the main character took his sister home this afternoon. Before he comes back, let's head upstairs and have a deep conversation with his sister." As we see metal bats in their hands and bulky-looking dudes behind them, we observe her sister cutting some vegetables, doing the cooking, as the talking that was on her neck starts to emit a dark aura which surrounds the atmosphere. Thank you for watching. If you want a part 2, subscribe and leave a comment. Part 2 can be uploaded as soon as tomorrow.